Welcome to the channel and welcome to episode 7 of my solo play Grimdark Future campaign. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, please do go and check them out, but in this campaign I'm playing both sides as objectively as I can. I'm not using the AI rules because I feel this way is just a bit more fluid and better for telling a story. It is a narrative campaign. That said, we're doing it as a round robin style, everybody fights everybody else kind of thing. So far, the 4 armies have all fought each other once. So that was in the first half. We're now in the second half where all 4 armies are going to fight each other again. And for this battle, we return to the blasted wastes of Novus Chestrensis Prime. Captain Myers was tasked with investigating the presence of plague disciples reported on the northern continent. He engaged the forces of the plague disciples that he found there and was soundly beaten. He put in an urgent call requesting armoured support, and that armoured support has now arrived. His orders have been reissued. Seek out the forces of the plague disciples and destroy them. And here are the forces of the HDF. They are of course being led by Captain Myers. He's a company leader. He has the Forward Observer upgrade, which allows him to use the Take Aim ability, so he can pick a unit within 12 inches of him and they get +1 to the hit rolls. If he is attached to a unit with a field radio, that extends to 24 inches. And to that end, he is accompanied by Myers Misfits, who are a veteran squad of 5. There's 4 rifles in there, a grenade launcher, and of course a field radio. To his left, our right, we've got 311 squad. They're an infantry squad of 11, and in case you've missed previous episodes, at the time this squad was put together at the start of the campaign, this was the rules legal configuration of 11 models. So in there we've got a heavy weapons team armed with an autocannon. There's a grenade launcher, a field radio, and the NCO has got an energy sword and a pistol. And also there's a medic in there, so the unit gets regeneration. Behind them we have 3rd Support Squad. They are a weapons team of 3 mortar crews, and they are also accompanied by Lieutenant Ho. He is another company leader, again with the Forward Observer upgrade. Next to them, on and around that rock, we have got Silent and Deadly, a sniper squad of 5. Again, when I started the campaign, you could legally take snipers in units of 5. They've since changed it to units of 3, but I'm going to keep with the unit of 5 because that's what they've been throughout the campaign so far. They have got an experience upgrade. They are headstrong, so they get +1 to morale tests. Standing next to Captain Myers, we've got Master Wylock. He is a company leader and he's a psychic. And next to him we have got the Sushi, a unit of 10 conscripts. And then finally, the newest units that have been allocated to Captain Myers. We've got Infernus, which is an attack vehicle with a flamethrower cannon and a heavy machine gun. And then finally we've got Rage, a battle tank with a battle cannon, twin heavy machine guns and laser cannon. And that comes to 1,645 points. The HDF do have a unit that is missing this battle. Hot Stuff, the special weapons teams with the flamethrowers, are missing this battle, but they will be back for the next one. And here we have the forces of the Plague Disciples, being led of course by Lord Cankerous, a plague champion with destroyer armour. He has got an experience upgrade. He is now a duelist, which means he is -1 to be hit in melee. To his left, our right, we have the Shrouded, the first of our new units. They are a unit of 3 plague destroyers and they're armed with poison gauntlets and heavy scythes. Behind them we have the veterans, the Determined. They're a unit of 5 plague brothers. One of them has got a plague launcher and one of them has got a great scythe. They also have an experience upgrade. They are now resilient, so they get +1 to their defense rolls. Up on the rock we have a unit that isn't necessarily new, but we haven't seen him in action yet. He is Puskworm Warptongue. He's another plague champion and he is a psychic. Next to the rock we've got the Faithful, a unit of 10 plague cultists, and one of those has got a machine gun. In front of them we have got Deacon Griss. He is a Plague Cultist champion and he has the Plague Lord ability, which means him and his unit get +1 to their regeneration rolls. And I think you pronounce this Blue Echo 4 made the suggestion that actually he's one of the cultists that has been promoted due to the fact that he is so faithful, he is resilient, he's been blessed by the plague god, and so he has been promoted out of the ranks of the regular cultists. So thank you for that suggestion, Blue Echo 4. And then finally we have Bringer of Bile, a plague drone equipped with twin plague sprayers, and that is 1,450 points. Now that means there's 195 points worth of difference between the HDF and the Plague Disciples. So in multiples of 50, as in full multiples of 50, that's 150 points. So the Plague Disciples will get 3 underdog points for this battle. Should also say that the Plague Disciples are missing a unit this game. The Touched, which is a unit of Plague Mutant Brothers, they are missing this game, but they will be back for the next game. Okay, we're set up. We rolled off for objectives, and there are 3. So we've got one in the exact centre, like I like to do, and then we've got one diagonally towards us, and then one diagonally towards the opposite side of the table. We rolled off for deployment, and the Plague Disciples got the first drop. So they got this side of the table. We've got the Bringer of Bile over here on their right flank. In the centre we've got the Determined along with the Psychic, and then we've got the Cultists and their champion next to them, currently in cover on this crater. Around the other side of the table, on the left flank, we've got Rage, the battle tank, with Captain Myers and his veterans next to it. Towards the centre we've got 311 squad, 311 squad, again in cover in this crater. We've got the mortar teams with Lieutenant Ho towards the back, and I've tried to make sure I've positioned them so that we can't get ambushing destroyers coming in behind them, because I forgot to say that Lord Cankerous and the Shrouded are currently in ambush courtesy of their destroyer armour. We've got the snipers here. There wasn't really any cover that I could deploy them in. And then we've got Infernus with Master Wylock and the conscripts on the right flank. So now we need to ascertain what special objectives both armies have before we go into the first turn. Special objectives for the Plague Disciples. 1. Mastery. 1 friendly unit in each table quarter at the end of the game. Okay. And for the HDF, 5. Rage. First player to destroy an enemy unit. I'm sure the HDF would love to do that. Right, let's go into the first turn. At the start of the first turn, is there going to be a random event on a 5+? No. First activation for the Plague Brothers, because they won the deployment roll-off. I'm going to activate the Determined along with Puskworm Warptongue. Puskworm Warptongue is going to try and cast a psychic spell. He's going for Blessed Virus, which ordinarily goes off on a 4+, but he's psychic 1, so will go off on a 3+. And that goes off. So he can pick 2 units within 6 inches, and they get stealth the next time they are shot at. So we're obviously going to go for the Determined and also the Faithful, Plague Cultists. The Determined have advanced, limited to 6 inches movement because they were moving out of that difficult terrain, the crater, and they are now within range to shoot at 311 squad. We're going to start things off with the dreaded Plague Launcher. This is one shot, it'll hit on a 4 because 311 squad is in cover. That should have been hitting on a 3 because it's blast and blast ignores cover, but as you're about to see, it didn't really matter. And that's a 1, so it misses. Natural miss. Can't modify that with any of the underdog bonuses. And we've also got 3 heavy rifles that are in range, so 3 shots hitting on 4s. 2 more natural misses, but 1 hit. These are AP1, so 311 squad will need a natural 6 to save. Well, they're 5 at defence, so they need a 6 to save anyway. And that's a fail, so 1 member of 311 squad gets taken down. Although I forgot, they've got a medic in the squad, so they get regenerate, but I pick that up at the end of the turn. Rage has advanced. It's fast, so it can move 12 inches. That should be 8 inches. I do pick that up in a minute. So it's moved on to objective 3, and it's now going to open fire on the Bringer of Bile, the plague drone. It gets 2 shots with its battle cannon, which will hit on 4s. Ooh, that was nearly 2 6s, but one is definitely a 6, so can't be modified with an underdog bonus. The 4 is modifiable, so I'm going to spend one of the 3 underdog bonuses to turn that into a 3, so that that one misses. But I was going to say, but it's blast 3, but there's only one model in the target unit. It's a very big model. Should still be 3 hits in my opinion, but I don't write the rules. That's 1 hit. It's AP 2, so it'll need a 4+ to save. And that's a save. Okay. To be fair, they've rolled a lot of 1 so far, so it's only fair that they roll a lot of 6s to make up for it, the Plague Disciples. Twin heavy machine guns, 6 shots, hitting on 4s. That's a lot of 4s. That's 5 hits. Now you can only spend 1 underdog bonus per dice roll, so at worst, or at best, depending on your point of view, I can only turn 1 of those 4s into a 3. So let's do that now. Again, by now you know if I've got underdog bonuses, I like to get them used up earlier rather than later, so that I don't have to remember that I've got them. So that's 2 down, 1 to go, 4 hits, AP 1, so 3s to save. That's 2 fails, but I could spend the last underdog bonus to turn one of those 2s into a 3 to make it a pass, which I will do. That's all the underdog bonuses spent, so I don't have to try and remember them anymore. Does that hit that goes through regenerate on a 5+? No, it doesn't. So that's 1 damage taken on the plague drone. It is tough 6, so it's got 5 wounds left. And finally, for the battle tank, we've got a laser cannon. 1 shot will hit on a 4+. That's a 6, it hits. AP 3 will need a 5 to save. That's only a 3, it's deadly 3. So 3 wounds to try and regenerate. None of them regenerate. So that's 4 damage taken. It's down to 2 wounds left, that plague drone. Very, very quick edit. I just realised that I moved the tank 12 inches for some strange obscure reason. It should only have moved 8, so I've moved it back. It's still got good line of sight through to the plague drone though, so all the shots still stand. I nearly forgot, but I caught it in time. It's down to less than half its starting tough. So does it pass a morale test on a 3+? Yes, it does. Plague drone was definitely feeling a bit exposed after weathering all that incoming fire from the tank, so it has rushed forwards trying to get some line of sight blocking terrain in the way. Next to activate, we've got Master Wylock and the conscripts. Master Wylock is going to try and cast Foresight, which will go off on a 3+. Foresight normally, but he's Psychic 1. That's cocked, but it's definitely a 5. So I can choose 2 friendly units within 6 inches and they get +1 to hit next time they shoot. So I'm obviously going to go for the conscripts and also Infernus. And then Master Wylock and the conscripts have rushed forwards to the edge of that shriveled wood. The purple D6 showing a 1 just to remind me that they get +1 to shoot next time. The plague cultists have advanced, again limited to 6 inches because of moving out of the crater. So they can't move further than 6 inches, so they may as well just advance. They're now going to shoot at the conscripts, and I'm going to say the conscripts, even though they're not in the cover, they will get the benefit of the cover because we are shooting through the trees. So altogether, with 10 cultists, one of which has got a machine gun and also Deacon Griss, this is a total of 14 shots, which will all hit on 5s, 6s because of the cover. That was cocked, it looked like it was going to be a 6. 4 hits. 5s to save. 3 fails, so 3 of the conscripts get cut down by enemy fire. In fairness, the attack vehicle has advanced. It's fast, so it can move 8 inches and still fire, and it's going to fire everything in at the determined. Now, it's got a heavy machine gun and also a flamethrower cannon. They're basically the same profile other than the range, so this is going to be 9 shots in total, 3 from the flamethrower cannon, 6 from the heavy machine gun. Actually, it's the other way around, 6 from the flamethrower cannon, 3 from the heavy machine gun, but it's still 9 shots. Ordinarily hitting on 4s, but +1 courtesy of Master Wylock's spell, -1 because the Plague Disciples have currently got stealth on them courtesy of their own psychic. So back to hitting on 4s, 9 shots hitting on 4s. There's a 6 behind there. 5 hits. These are all AP1. Ordinarily, Plague Brothers have got a 3+ defense, which goes down to 4+ because of the AP1. However, back to 3+ because the Determined are resilient. They've got an experience upgrade. So 3s to 4s, back to 3s. There's 2 fails. Do they regenerate on a 5+? One of them does, so 1 wound goes through. 1 of the Determined gets taken down. All of the Plague units have activated, so we're back to HDF units. Captain Myers and his veterans have rushed, heading towards that cover terrain and reinforcing the tank on objective 3. And Captain Myers is now going to issue the order take aim through the field radio onto 311 squad. 311 squad are going to open fire on the Determined. I'm going to start with the grenade launcher, 1 shot which will hit on a 4+ courtesy of take aim, and the Determined have used their stealth ability from that psychic power. They've already been shot at, so it's no longer in effect. Oh, it's a miss. 3 shots from the autocannon hitting on 4s. 3 misses. It's down to the rifles. 8 rifle shots. Should have been 7 because one of them is technically dead at the minute. Hitting on 4s. Right, there's some hits. Couldn't have been anything with AP, could it? 5 hits. Saving on 2s, ordinarily defense 3, but because they are resilient through that experience upgrade, saving on 2s. There's a 1. Does it regenerate on a 5+? Yes, it does. 311 squad can't catch a break. We're now going to move on to the mortar teams, and I can't decide whether I want them to fire at the Determined or the Plague Cultists. The Determined are going to be easier to hit because they don't have stealth. So we've got Lieutenant Ho in there. He's part of the unit. He can order them to take aim. So they'll be hitting the Determined on 4s, but as we've just seen, they'll be saving on 2s. Whereas they'll be hitting the Plague Disciples on 5s, but they'll also be saving on 5s. I think we'll go for the Plague Disciples because, yeah, I think they're more likely to, assuming something hits, we're more likely to actually kill something. Right. 3 shots hitting on 5s, courtesy of take aim. There's 2 6s, and they are blast 3, so that's 6 shots, or rather 6 hits. 5s to save. 2 saves. And then the bit I forgot. 4+ to regenerate. Oh, drop dice don't count. 2 regenerate, so 2 of the cultists are cut down by mortar fire. Finally, we've got Silent and Deadly, the snipers. They are going to shoot at the cultists, but specifically they're going to try and single out Deacon Griss, who is quite conspicuous by his banner that he's waving around. They're armed with sniper rifles, which means they shoot with quality 2+, but as before we're shooting through the dead trees, so I'm going to say the cultists get the benefit of cover. So this will be 5 shots hitting on 3s, and that is 2 misses. 3 hits. AP1, so saving on 6s. Oh, there's a 6, so he's not going to die. Regenerating on 4+. No, he does take 2 wounds. And that is the end of turn 1. And at the end of turn 1, the Plague Disciples are in control of objective 1. Nobody is in control of objective 2. And the HDF are in control of objective 3. In terms of casualties, Plague Disciples have lost 2 cultists and a Plague Brother, and the HDF have lost 3 conscripts and 1 trooper from 311 squad. Although this plague drone is very badly damaged. So fairly even so far at the end of turn 1. As we go into turn 2, the Plague Disciples will get the first activation because they finished activating first in the first turn. Are the destroyers going to put in an appearance? Should also say that when the snipers came to shoot, I forgot that they had scout, so they could have deployed elsewhere when I deployed them, but I ain't changing it now. We'll just carry on from the fact they deployed as normal. They are, after all, part of a patrol, try and find the enemy, and they don't be strung out there because they remember what happened last time. Also, before we go into turn 2, I've just realised when I was doing the editing that 311 squad has got a medic, so the one guy who died could regenerate on a 5+. He doesn't, he's still dead. At the start of turn 2, is there going to be a random event on a 5+? No. So after much contemplation and thinking, I've decided to not bring in the destroyers this turn. I did contemplate bringing them in and try and take out the tank, but I thought A, that wouldn't be very sporting, B, probably wouldn't go down very well with the HDF, and C, there's other stuff I want to get done before it dies. So to that end, I'm going to activate the Determined with Puskworm Warp Tongue first, and he's going to try and cast Blessed Virus again, which will go off on a 3+, which fails. Okay. Oh well. And the Determined and the Psyker have advanced onto that central objective, onto objective number 2, and they're going to shoot at 311 squad, 311 squad, starting things off with the Plague Launcher, which will hit on a 3 because it's blast and ignores cover. That's a hit. And it's blast 3, so that becomes 3 hits. 5s to save. None. Do they regenerate because of the medic? One of them regenerates, so 2 soldiers die. Then 2 heavy rifle shots, hitting on 4s because of cover. Both miss. Battle tank has advanced, this time only 8 inches, and is going to try and finish off that plague drone, and that's kind of why I wanted to get that psychic spell off, to make it -1 to hit, but it failed. So Rage is going to fire in with all of its weapons into the plague drone, starting things off with the battle cannon. 2 shots hitting on 4s. Both hit. They would have both missed if I'd got the spell off. AP2, so saving on 4s. 1 fails. Does it regenerate on a 5? Yes, it does. Let's try the laser cannon. 1 shot hitting on a 4. Misses. Can the heavy machine guns do it? 6 shots hitting on 4s. No, there's only 3 hits. Well, I say no, it's only got 2 wounds left. 3s to save because of AP1. 1 failed. Does it regenerate? No, it doesn't. It's got 1 wound left on the plague drone. Again, nearly forgot. Needs to take another morale test. 3+. Passes. Before it completely expires, the plague drone has advanced and it's going to shoot at Captain Myers and Myers Misfits. It's going to be shooting through the woods, so I'm going to give Captain Myers the benefit of cover, but this is still 12 shots hitting on 4s. 6s are poison. There's no 6s. 6 saves of 5+ needed. 3 made, 3 fail. So 3 of the troopers will get taken down. And model wise, the unit is now at half strength, so we need to take a morale test, which will be 4+. And that's a fail. Captain Myers and his squad are pinned. Next to activate is going to be Master Wylock and the conscripts. We're just going to go with Foresight again, which will go off on a 3+, which passes. And I don't know of any rule that says they can't stack, so the conscripts have currently got +1 from the last time he cast it, so I'm going to pick them and also the flamethrower tank. So as far as I'm concerned, conscripts have now got +2 to shoot. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Master Wylock and the conscripts have advanced into that area of dead woods and they're going to shoot at the plague cultists. There's 7 rifles and they're going to be hitting on 4s because they've currently got +2 to hit. Conscripts hitting on 4s, who'd have thought it? And that is only 1 miss. And Master Wylock is also going to fire his pistol, which will be 1 shot, and this will technically hit on a 2 because he's part of the unit, so he gets the same benefit because he cast the spell on the unit and he joined the unit at the start of the deployment. So 1 pistol shot hitting on a 2, which hits. So 7 hits scored in total, saving on 5s. That's 3 saves. Oops. Do the other 4 regenerate on 4s? 2 of them do. So 2 more cultists die. The only unit left to activate for the plague disciples is the cultists, so they're going to shoot at the conscripts. There's 6 rifles and a machine gun, 9 shots in total, hitting on 6s because the conscripts are in cover. 2 hits, saving on 5s, 1 save. 3rd support squad, the mortar teams are going to fire at the cultists, Lieutenant Hogue telling them to take aim. So this will be 3 shots hitting on 4s. It's only 1 hit, but it is blast 3, so that will be 3 hits. 3 saves of 5 up needed. 2 saves. And 1 regeneration on a 4+. Yeah, you could have guessed it was coming, couldn't you? The snipers are now going to shoot in at the cultists. They're not going to single out the champion, they're just going to put all 5 shots into the unit. 5 shots hitting on 3s because of cover. That is only 2 hits. Maybe they should have tried to single out the champion. Oh well, too late now. Saving on 6s because of AP1. They both failed to save. Do they regenerate on a 4? They both regenerate. The flamethrower tank has advanced, and I was umming and ahhing about whether or not to put it into the determined or the cultists, and in the end I decided to go for the cultists because we'll try and clear this flank. We've pretty much cleared the opposite flank, so if we can pen the plague disciples into the middle, that sounds like a tactic to me. So 9 shots, 6 from the flamethrower cannon, 3 from the heavy machine gun into the cultists. We are shooting through the cover, so that will be -1 to hit, but we've currently got +1 to hit courtesy of Master Wylock's psychic spell. So long story short, 9 shots hitting on 4s. Four hits. 4 saves of 6+ needed. 3 fail. Do they regenerate on a 4+? One of them does, so 2 more cultists get taken down. That leaves the unit at less than half its starting strength, so they now need to take a morale test on a 5+, which they pass, so they're not pinned. Okay. That just leaves Captain Myers and 311 squad. Captain Myers is going to activate and unpin himself and his unit. Now, because that's all they can do this turn is unpin themselves, he can't issue the take aim order. That's the way I interpret it. Let me know if you think it's wrong. But because he can't issue the take aim order, 311 squad is now going to be back to hitting on 5s. I'm going to put the autocannon into the plague drone in the vain hope of trying to finish it off, and then everything else is going to go into the determined who are under that archway. We'll start with 3 shots from the autocannon hitting on 5s. Everything misses. Grenade launcher into the determined will hit on a 5. It hits. It's blast 3, so causes 3 hits. 2s to save, courtesy of the resilient experience upgrade that the determined have got. 1 fail. Does it regenerate on a 5? No, it doesn't. 5 rifle shots hitting on 5s. They'll miss. And that is the end of turn 2. So all in all, a rather uneventful turn 2. The plague cultists still hold objective 1. They've lost a couple of more of their number. The conscripts have lost 1 or 2 more. The determined now hold objective 2 in the centre, and Captain Myers still holds objective 3, and he's lost a few of his veterans, and somehow this plague drone is still alive and 1 wound left. Right, as we go into turn 3, the plague disciples will again get the first turn because they finished activating first in turn 2. At the start of turn 3, is there going to be a random event on a 5+? No. At the start of turn 3, the air fizzles with the energy of teleportation devices, and Lord Cankerous and the Shrouded appear on the battlefield. And they will get to activate. They're going to charge Captain Myers and the remaining misfits from behind. The Shrouded get 2 attacks each with their heavy scythes. Lord Cankerous gets 2 attacks with his great scythe. Now they're different AP. The heavy scythes are AP2, the great scythe is AP4, but when you've got 5 up armour that doesn't really matter. So we're going to do all these attacks at once. 8 attacks, hitting on 3s. 2 miss. 6 hits. They'll need natural 6s to save. And there's only 1. Each of these is deadly 3. So that will cut down Captain Myers and the remaining misfits. And Lord Cankerous and the Shrouded consolidate onto objective 3. Now I appreciate that's probably not going to be a popular move, but what would you have done? Yeah, probably best not to answer that. Anyway, 311 squad are going to activate next. They're going to do the same as before. 3 shots from the autocannon into the plague drone, everything else into the plague disciples. 3 shots from the autocannon hitting on 5s. It's 1 hit. AP2 saving on a 4. Doesn't save. Does it regenerate on a 5+? Oh dear. Yes it does. I'm sorry guys. Right. Grenade launcher hitting on a 5. Misses. 5 rifles hitting on 5s. 2 hits. Saving on 2s. Both save. The plague drone has advanced and is going to fire in on 311 squad. 12 shots hitting on 4s because of the cover. 6s are poison. So 2 regular hits and 3 poisons, so effectively only 1 miss. 5 saves of 5 up needed. That's 2. Just spotted in the edit that that should have been 3, but unfortunately it's too late to do anything about that now. Do the others regenerate because of the medic? that's a bit better. Medic saves 5 of them. 4 more models die. 311 squad will now need to take a morale test on a 5+, which passes. The mortar teams are going to fire in on the plague cultists. Lieutenant Ho telling them to take aim. 3 shots, hitting on 4s. They all miss. Those mortars really are rubbish. Cultists are going to fire at the conscripts. 4 rifles and 3 machine gun shots going in, hitting on 6s because of the cover. 3 6s. 5s to save. 1 saves, so 2 more conscripts die. Conscript unit is now below half starting strength, so they need to take a morale test. They can use Master Wylock's quality because he's part of the unit, so this will be 4+, which fails. The conscripts are pinned. Infernus has advanced and is going to fire in at the determined. 9 shots hitting on 4s. 4 hits, saving on 3s. AP 1, but they get +1 to their saves. 1 fails. Does it regenerate on a 5+? Yes, it does. These plague disciples are really resilient in a very disgusting way. Puskworm Warp Tongue is now going to try and cast Plague Curse, which will go off on a 5+. He's Psychic 1, so 4+. That passes. Target enemy unit within 6 inches takes 1 hit with AP 4 and Deadly 3. That's going to be the Flamethrower Tank. At AP 4, we need a 6 to save, which fails. It's Deadly 3, so the Flamethrower Tank takes 3 wounds. It's Tough 6, so it's got 3 left. Now, because the Flamethrower Tank is at half of its starting tough value, it needs to take a morale test, which will be a 4+. It passes. Now the determined are going to fire. We've got the Plague Launcher going into 311 squad, which will hit on a 3. That's a 5, so that hits. It's Blast 3. There are still more than 3 models left in the unit. Just 5s to save. None of them save, but do they regenerate because the medic is still alive? 1 of them regenerates, 2 more get taken down. That will leave the autocannon and the medic left in the squad. So we've also got 2 heavy rifles going into 311 squad. 1 hits, saves on a 5. That should have been saves on a 6 because it's AP 1. Which doesn't. Does it regenerate? No, so that will have to be the medic because the autocannon team is a tough model and you have to take that model off last. It will now need to take another morale test on a 5+, which fails, so the autocannon team is pinned, which will effectively take it out of the game because there's only 1 turn left and all they'll be able to do on the next turn is remove the pin. And there's a pistol from Puskworm Warp Tongue going into the Flamethrower Tank. We'll hit on a 3, which misses. It's right there, it's right in front of you. How did you miss a tank? As crazy as it sounds, I'm going to put the snipers into the Plague Drone because I did contemplate trying to take some shots at Lord Cankerous, but there's only 5 models in the sniper team and Lord Cankerous is tough 6, so they won't be able to kill him. There's only 1 wound left still on that Plague Drone. We need to kill something to achieve the special objective. Whilst we could finish off the Plague Cultists, that's a possibility. Again, the way they've been rolling their regen rolls isn't very likely. To take out the Plague Cultists, everything would have to hit. They would have to fail all the saves and not regenerate any of them. And we'd be hitting on 3s because of shooting through cover. Whereas this, we're hitting on 2s, it's AP 1, I think we stand a reasonable chance, he says. 5 sniper rifles, hitting on 2+ into the Plague Drone. Everything hits. 3s to save. 4 failed saves. Do they regenerate? I know you're all thinking 4, 5s and 6s are going to come up now, aren't you? No, the plague drone is indeed taken down. To be fair, that would not have killed the plague cultists. So, good choice made, I think. Plague drone taken down. Finally, Rage is going to open fire on Lord Cankerous and the destroyers. 2 shots from the battle cannon, hitting on 4s. They both miss. Again, they're right there. 1 shot from the laser cannon. Hits. Gonna need a 6 to save. Which they get. 6 shots from the heavy machine guns. 2 hits. 4s to save. 1 fails. Does it regenerate on a 5+? Saw that coming, didn't we? Those destroyers just took an entire tank literally to the face. It's right next to them. Master Wylock and the conscripts just simply unpin themselves, and with that, that is the end of turn 3. I feel your frustration, HDF fans, I really do. I was really hoping for a win, but it's not looking promising. Right, so we've got the Plague Cultists are still in control of Objective 1. The Plague Brothers are in control of Objective 2 and Objective 3. Captain Myers and his bodyguard have been taken down. 311 squad is all but destroyed. The Plague Drone is finally dead. As we go into the 4th and final turn, the Plague Disciples will again get the first activation. At the start of turn 4, is there going to be a random event on a 5+? No. For the first activation, Puskworm Warp Tongue is going to try and cast Plague Curse again, which will go off on a 4+, which passes. So that is an automatic hit on an enemy unit within 6 inches, so this will be the Flamethrower tank again. So AP 4, Deadly 3, we need a 6 to save. He saves it. Well, there you go. The Plague Launcher from the Determined is going to fire in at the conscripts. This will be 1 shot hitting on a 3 because it ignores cover because it's blast. That hits with 3 hits, 5s to save, 2 save, and 2 heavy rifle shots, hitting on 4s because of cover. 1 hits, 5 up save. Saves. No, it's a 6 up save because it's AP 1 because it's heavy rifle, so it doesn't save. 1 more conscript gets taken down. Pistol shot into the tank. Misses again. Ah, dear. He's good at casting spells, but he's rubbish with a handgun. The conscripts and Master Wylock will now need to take another morale test. 4+ because of Master Wylock's quality. Passes. The snipers towards the top of the screen are going to fire in at the remaining cultists. 5 shots hitting on 3s. 2 miss. 6s to save. None. Do they regenerate on 4+? Yes, all 3 of them, for goodness sake. Cultists are going to fire at the conscripts. 7 shots, hitting on 6s. Another 3 6s. 5s to save. 1 saves. The last 2 conscripts are killed, but Master Wylock is still there. Does he pass his morale test on a 4+? Yes, he does, on a 6. The battle tank is going to fire in at Lord Cankerous and his retinue. 2 shots from the battle cannon, hitting on 4s. Both hit. It is blast 3, and there are more than 3 models in the unit, so that becomes 6 hits. AP2, so 5's needed to save. 2 save. Do the other 4 regenerate on 5+? 2 of them do. So 1 has got 1 wound left. We'll do the machine guns next. 6 shots. Hitting on 4s. 2 hits. Fours to save. 1 fails. Does it regenerate? No. One of the destroyers is taken down by the machine gun fire. Laser cannon, 1 shot hitting on a 4. Hits. 6 needed to save. Fails. Deadly 3. Do they regenerate? No, another destroyer is taken down. They will now need to take a morale test. 3+. They fail, so they are pinned. It's just a shame that the tank can't get close enough to claim that objective. But you know what, it's only my stupidity that stopped it from moving in the first place. So I have nudged it forward so it's within 3 inches. I hope you're okay with that. It would have still been an inch away from all enemy models. Yeah, why I didn't move it first, I'm not entirely sure. If I'd have thought it through, I would have done. So I've just done it. That's the joy of playing against yourself. You can do things like that. So the tank is now capturing that objective. Might be controversial, but I'm okay with it. And it's, as I say, it's only because I didn't think to move it. I didn't just thought we'll try and see if we can kill them off it. Never thought if we do kill them off it, can I actually capture it? Yeah. So if I'd have thought it through better, that's what I would have done. Yeah. It's done. And now the only unit the Plague have got is Lord Cankerous and his retinue, and all they can do is unpin themselves, which means they will be contesting the objective, but they won't be capturing it because the tank is within 3 inches of it. Back over to the other flank, the flamethrower tank has advanced. It's now within 3 inches of objective 1, and we're going to put the flamethrower cannon and the heavy machine gun into the remaining cultists. 9 shots hitting on 4s. 5 hits. 6 is needed to save. There's 2 6s. Do the other 3 regenerate on a 4+? 2 of them do. 1 of the cultists gets taken down. Can they pass this morale test on a 5+? No, they are now pinned, so they cannot hold that objective, so the HDF now hold that objective. Master Wylock has advanced. He's going to try and cast Flame Breath. Ordinarily goes off on a 4+, but he's Psychic 1, so this will be a 3+. Which hits. Target enemy unit within 6 inches takes 3 hits at AP2. There's going to be 6s to save. They all fail. Do they regenerate? 2 of them regenerate, but 1 more gets taken down with Cleansing Psychic Flame. And he's also going to fire in with his pistol just for good measure. 1 shot hitting on a 4+. Misses. And then, this is quite exciting. Over here, 311 squad are going to activate and unpin themselves and mark themselves as activated. That's not the exciting bit. This is the exciting bit. 3rd support squad, whose mortar fire is absolutely atrocious, are going to rush onto that centre objective. They've just got enough movement for this model to get within 3 inches of that objective. It is as close gets, but I measured it and I measured it and I measured it again, and yes, they are now contesting that objective, which means at the end of turn 4, objective 3 is contested Both armies have 1 unit within 3 inches of it. Objective 2 is contested. Both armies have 1 unit within 3 inches of it. Objective 1 is held by the HDF because a pinned unit, i.e. the cultists, cannot contest an objective. So that's the end of turn 4. The HDF hold 1 objective, the Plague Disciples don't hold any. It is a victory at long last for the HDF. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't think that after those destroyers came in, and let's face it, the points value of that lot is about 500 and nearly 600 points. That's a third of the army, close enough. And they took out Captain Myers. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to be able to pull the way back from that. And that's why I didn't bother moving the tank, because I thought at this stage they can't win. And then it dawned on me, actually yes, they can possibly win. If they can contest objectives and then take this one, they can win. Initially I activated this unit first because I thought if I can take the tank out, the flamethrower tank, then we can secure this flank. And then effectively it would have been the other way round. The Plague Disciples would have had this objective, and yeah, at best the HDF could have contested the other two, but it's the other way round. The HDF hold objective 1 and the other 2 objectives are contested. So to all you HDF fans out there, they finally got a win. So their first victory for the HDF, giving them 2 more victory points for the campaign. Lieutenant Ho stepping up to take the battle honours in the absence of Captain Myers, while we wait to find out if he recovers from his injuries. The HDF did not, however, complete their special objective of being the first army to destroy an enemy unit. The Plague were the first to destroy an enemy unit when they teleported in and took out Captain Myers. However, the Plague lost, they get no victory points, but also they did not accomplish their special objective. They needed to have 1 unit in each table quarter at the end of the game, and they only had 3 units left. So the HDF will get 50 points to add to their reserves, and the Plague Disciples will get 150 points to add to their reserves. Checking for casualties for the Plague Disciples. First up, the Bringer of Bile. Survives with no lasting injuries. The Shrouded. Their first mission out and they were reduced to less than half their starting strength. Survive with no lasting injuries. And then the Faithful. I think this is the first time I've had to roll for them. Survive with no lasting injuries. And of course the Touched. The Mutant Plague Brothers will be back for the next battle. For the HDF we need to roll for Captain Myers. He survives with no lasting injuries. Myers Misfits, his retinue of veterans. They survive with a point of XP. 311 Squad. Survive with no lasting injuries. And finally the Sushi, the Conscript Squad. Survive with a point of XP. And of course for the next battle, Hot Stuff will rejoin the army. They missed this game but they're back for the next one, so both the Plague Disciples and the HDF will be back up to full strength for their next games. Experience for the HDF. Captain Myers is not present because he did not survive the battle, so he doesn't gain any XP and he didn't destroy any enemy units. Myers Misfits get 1 experience point, putting them on 5, giving them an upgrade. So they get 1 XP for recovering from their injury. So let's see which trait they gain. Elite, makes sense, may re-roll 1 roll of any kind once per game. I think that's quite appropriate. 311 Squad technically survived the game, so they're now on 3 XP. 3rd Support Squad survived the game, they're on 2 XP. Silent and Deadly, the snipers, they took down the Plague Drone, so they get 1 XP for that, and they also survived the battle, putting them on 9 XP in total. Sushi, the conscripts, they recovered, so they get 1 XP, putting them on 3 in total. Lieutenant Ho survived the battle, putting him on his 1st XP. Master Wylock survived the battle, giving him another XP, putting him on 2. In Furnace, the flamethrower tank survived the battle, putting him on 1 XP, or it on 1 XP, and also Rage, the battle tank, survived the battle, putting it on 1 XP. XP for the Plague Disciples. Lord Cankerous has gained 4 XP, putting him on a total of 11. He gets 1 experience point for killing Myers Misfits, or being involved in the combat that took them out, and that counts for Captain Myers 2. And you get 2 points for taking out an enemy character, and also he survived the battle. So he gets another upgrade. He is currently using the fighter skill set, so let's see what his next trait is going to be. 4 Fanatic, +1 attack in melee. He's becoming an absolute beat stick in close combat. The Determined get 1 point of XP for surviving the battle. The Faithful get 2 more XP, 1 for killing the unit of conscripts and 1 for surviving the battle, technically. So they're now on 4 XP in total. Squirm Warp Tongue, the Psychic, he gets 1 XP for surviving the battle. The Shrouded get 4 XP for exactly the same reasons as Lord Cankerous. They killed the Misfits, they took out an enemy character and they survived. And then finally Deacon Griss also gets 2 XP for killing the conscripts and surviving the battle. Upgrades. No existing units are going to get upgraded in either army. Reinforcements. The HDF are going to just bank their points for a later game. And for the Plague Disciples, they have recruited the Bearers, a unit of 20 Plague Zombies costing 160 points, leaving them 55 points in their reserves. So there we go, finally a win for the HDF. I must be honest, that game was very swingy. I thought they had a chance, then those destroyers teleported in, and then I thought they don't have a chance, and then right at the very end they managed to pull it back. So looking forward to the next episode. Thank you all very much for your support. Thank you very much for liking, commenting and subscribing. Please continue to do so, and until next time, God bless.